Hi guys, it's Haps, and in today's video, I've got another 5 of a kind. It's the 5 Stego, and this is one I've been trying to get for a while, and I'm so glad we got there. It's pretty cool as well, because you get so many stats flying around in the late game, so hopefully you enjoy that when we get there. But let's just jump into the gameplay, and I'll sort of take you through the process. So you saw there, I just sold a ton of Kiwis. And that's because with these kind of runs, I like to start off with trying to stack as many stats onto one single pet as possible, just so that we have a carry for the early to mid game. Now, ideally, I wanted that to be the Tamarin, but you've got to be careful not to look for the Tamarin for too long that you end up sacrificing some of your health, because you're going to need that health when transitioning from mid to late game. So in the end, I decided, you know what, we've got a jellyfish. The jellyfish will continue to scale. So let's put the stats on that. And then when we get the Tamarin, we can focus the Tamarin then. So that is essentially what we've done. And you can see here, we've got an 1121 jellyfish. But I have no intention of leveling this jellyfish up, because all I want to do is I want to stack stats onto this Tamarin and level this Tamarin as quickly as possible. So you see here, I bring in the pug and I just leave the jellyfish in the shop, because otherwise it's just wasted gold for a unit that I eventually am going to sell. Now you could have a frog in the team and try and level a frog up to level 2 and then sell it and switch the stats later. That's an absolutely valid strategy, and I have used that before. But because we've already got a Tamarin on board, I might as well use all of the gold to try and level and build the stats onto this Tamarin, and just allow the jellyfish to try and get us to the mid to late game when it's going to matter. So we pick up the dragonfly here. Just it's a form of scaling. Hopefully we get the hits on our Tamarin, and because the Tamarin is the only level 2 in the team, that is guaranteed. Now we find a blobfish here, which we freeze, and we also find a Tamarin. Now I don't know if this is the correct play or not. It's probably not the correct play, but I actually decide to freeze the blobfish and use the pill on the blobfish as opposed to actually freezing the Tamarin, because when you pill blobfish, you get an additional 1/1 alongside the level up and also 1/1. So it's essentially +2 stats and the level up. Whereas if you just buy the Tamarin, you just get +1 and the level up. We pill the blobfish there, level the Tamarin, and we find the Stego. And this is it. This is where the transition starts to begin. We add a pair for just some extra stats onto that Tamarin. We sell it into the Stego. Now, it is worth noting that with any of these 5 of a kinds, I do not force a pet. I do not start the round thinking, right, this is going to be a 5 Stego run. I often just try and put myself in a position where I can transition into a late game pet. And what I mean by that is either having a pet with high stats, which I guess you could argue we had the jellyfish, or to have a Tamarin that's leveled up with decent stats. In this game, we actually kind of had both, but we didn't carry any frog. So the idea there would be if you had high stats on a single pet, you could use the level 2 frog, you could sell it, and you could swap those stats over. Now you can see we actually lose this turn, but it's not too much of a problem because we managed to get so many Kiwi stats onto our jellyfish early on. It was able to carry us through the early game without losing too many hearts. So we do have a couple of hearts to spare going into this, as I said before, into this transition stage. We find an alpaca here, which is absolutely perfect. I mean, if you've seen any of my other 5 of a kind builds, I like to use the alpaca to give us as many level 2s as possible. And we also have a chocolate frozen, so we need to find one more chocolate because the alpaca needs to be level 2, so that every time you bring a pet into the team, it's immediately leveled up. And boom, look, there's another chocolate in the shop, so immediately we get a level 2 alpaca. So now the hunt begins. All we're looking for is the Stegosaurus. We buy sell oyster for gold, hoping to level into a Stego, and we find a tapir, which isn't too bad because you can pill tapir and it will transform into a random pet on your team. And if we've got a couple of Stegos, then we increase our chance. But we keep rolling, and boom, we find another one. So there's 2 and another one. Okay, so we now have 3. So if we can find a pill, we could essentially get rid of the alpaca, I guess, worst case, and we could pill the tapir and guarantee ourselves a Stegosaurus. We go up against this team and they've got a massive butterfly, and this is what I mean. We need some extra hearts towards the late game as we're trying to transition. So we bring in one Stego, level into Bird of Paradise. We bring in another Stego, level into a Stegos, which is absolutely perfect. And we level one more. How insane was that turn? We essentially brought in 2 level 2s and leveled our Stego up to a level 2. So we now have 3 level 2 Stegosauruses, and we need 1 more. So if we can find a pill, we guarantee ourselves 5 Stegosaurus team, which means we just have to get to the end. But look at the stats. Look at the stats at this stage. And we're coming up against this summon team, which has a kangaroo. And often you would struggle against this team on turn 13. But we have so many stats. And we're taking a pounding from the vulture, but it's just not enough. And we're able to get past that team. So we go into turn 14, and I'm rolling here. I'm kind of looking for another Stegosaurus, but I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the tapir. I've not found a pill anywhere, and I'm just going to focus. I'm just going to roll and see if we can find it, and there it is. There it is. We have the full Stegosaurus team. So now all I got to do is just pray that I don't find a sniping team. And we come up against this, and it's kind of a sniping team. They've got a level 2 Dart Frog with the tiger behind. And also they've applied weakness, but our stats are just too high. Just look at how big these Stegosaurus are. And look, we've even got 3 Stegos left at the end. So we level it up, and all I'm doing here is I'm rolling down for chocolate. I thought about adding the melon to the front one, but to be honest, I thought it'd be pretty cool to try and complete this without using any food perks at all. And just look at the stats fly. 3 50-50 Stegos. Honestly, the other team just doesn't stand a chance here. And we're able to get this over the line. And there it is, the 5 Stegosaurus run. Recently, 5 of a kinds have been quite tricky. Customs have been pretty tough. So when I managed to get this over the line, it was one of those great feelings of success. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.